Before the sun rises, work has already begun. A Viking household moves by habit, not command. Every hand knows its place. Animals are fed, tools inspected, and the day's tasks divided with quiet precision. Most Vikings were not warriors or raiders. They were farmers, blacksmiths, and herders, people whose survival depended on discipline more than battle. But how did that discipline shape the strength we now call Viking? The rhythm is constant, sowing in spring, harvesting in summer, preserving through winter. The home is both factory and fortress, built to resist cold, hunger, and isolation. Clean order meant survival. Wasted time meant debt or hunger. Cooperation wasn't kindness, it was law. Even the smallest village worked like a single organism. What bound them together so tightly? Each dawn is a contract between people and nature. Fire, soil, and livestock each demand attention and give back just enough to endure. There is no idle moment, no romantic wildness. To live here is to live by schedule. And behind this routine stands another force, the idea of law and fairness, born not from kings, but from community itself. Most Vikings worked the land. Fields, pasture, and shoreline set the schedule. Mend fences, rotate grazing, cut peat, repair roofs, split timber, salt fish, card wool, turn iron into nails and rivets. Efficiency was a survival skill. Tools were shared, labor pooled, and favors tracked like currency. Silver mattered, but reputation mattered more. Show up for others, and they showed up for you. Miss a duty, and winter remembered. What happens when work fails and a neighbor claims damages? The answer was law. The thing, local assembly, met in set seasons, outdoors on ground everyone recognized. Free men spoke, witnesses swore, and law speakers recited rules from memory. Most disputes ended in compensation. Pay the fine, restore honor, keep the peace. Refuse, and penalties escalated from lesser outlawry to full exile. No protection, no trade, no help. Law was not a king's gift, it was the community's shield. Why would even strong men accept a measured loss instead of a glorious fight? Weights and measures kept trade honest. Balanced scales for silver, standard rings, and hack silver cut to fit what was owed. Oaths bound deals, kin guaranteed them. The practical effect was discipline in daily life. Keep tools ready, keep debts clear, keep tempers short. The same discipline carried into drills. Training wasn't a parade ground, it was maintenance. Shield edges checked, spear shafts smoothed, simple formations practiced in tight spaces. Wrestling taught balance, archery patience, and boat chores rhythm. If called to raid or defend, muscle memory saved time and lives. But what did courage look like when no one watched? It looked like restraint. The shield wall relied on steadiness more than fury. Hold your place, trust your neighbor, obey the call. A community that formed together moved together. Young hands learned by doing, hauling gear, running errands at the thing, absorbing the boundaries of right conduct. Older hands modeled it. Settle early, pay what you owe, train enough to be useful, never enough to be reckless. This kept villages predictable in an unpredictable land. Yet every rule sat beneath something older than law, belief. What story of the world convinced ordinary people to endure the cost of discipline? By midday, work slowed just enough for reflection. For Vikings, faith was not a Sunday ritual, it was structure. Every act, from plowing to judging a case, stood beneath unseen order. The gods were not distant, they were woven into weather, harvest, and fate. To keep balance with them was practical need, not private comfort. If favor withdrew, the sea froze, crops failed, and luck turned. But how did ordinary people keep that balance alive? Offerings were simple: food, iron, carved wood, a few drops of ale or blood to honor land spirits and ancestors. These gestures kept the world in sync. A failed ritual wasn't superstition, it was a broken agreement. The year revolved around festivals for sowing, harvest, and winter nights, each blending duty with gratitude. No one prayed for comfort, they prayed for endurance. And in that endurance lay identity. Stories taught ethics more than miracles. Odin's search for wisdom justified sacrifice. Thor's defense of the ordinary modeled loyalty. Frey and Freya framed fertility as shared labor, not gift. Even the afterlife reflected conduct on earth. Valhalla for warriors, but also peaceful realms for farmers who lived rightly. The goal was not glory alone, it was honor that outlived the body. Faith unified villages the way law did, through shared memory and fear of imbalance. Breaking an oath wasn't just lying, it risked cosmic disorder. Keeping it restored harmony. As night approached, belief shifted from the land to the horizon. The sea waited, patient and dangerous, calling those disciplined enough to trust it. By late day, attention turns to boats, not ceremony, maintenance. Hull seams checked, tar warmed, oars counted, sail mended. Most craft are workboats, gnar for cargo, smaller fairings for fjord travel. The sea is the road, and every household benefits when boats are sound. A loose rivet today becomes a rescue tomorrow. Who signs off that a craft is ready? The owner or the community that will risk it? Fishing is logistics. Nets repaired, hooks tallied, crews assigned by skill and kin. Launch windows match wind and tide, not preference. Sounding lines mark depth, landmarks plot routes. Trade is similar math. Butter, wool, iron and timber out, salt, grain, and silver in. Profit is modest but steady, enough to reinforce alliances. Gifts and hosting seal deals where ink does not. If a storm erases the margin, which promise stands first? Family table or market pledge? Evening gathers people into one circle. News from nearby farms, cases previewed before the thing, marriages planned, debts acknowledged. Hospitality is policy. A fed guest becomes a future witness, partner, or shieldmate. Storytelling works too, recording who helped, who failed, and who can be trusted when the oars hit water. Reputation spreads faster than sales. What happens to the one who refuses to pull equally? Training returns in quiet form. Rowing drills for timing, beach landings for speed, loading practice for balance. Children learn knots before letters. Adults rotate roles so no crew has a single point of failure. The same ethic shapes land life. Barn raisings, roof repairs, harvest shares. Community is not sentiment, it is insurance priced in labor and memory. And that is why even strong households show up when the weakest calls. Could this be the real engine behind the Viking Age? Competence scaled by cooperation. Night closes with reckoning. Tools stored, catch divided, small thanks for safe return. The day we tracked, work at dawn, law at midday, faith in the afternoon, and sea by evening, reveals no single hero. It reveals a system, discipline at home, order in public, meaning through ritual, and reach through water. That is what a common Viking day felt like, less spectacle, more structure. And it worked. Most outsiders wrote about Viking neatness before they wrote about weapons. Archaeology backs it up. Combs of antler or bone, tweezers, ear picks, razors, soap from animal fat and lye. There was even a weekly wash day, later remembered in Old Norse as laugardag, washing day. Clean wasn't a luxury, it was policy. Grooming reduced disease, lifted morale, and signaled reliability in trade and marriage. Clothing followed the same logic. Wool and linen layered for climate, brooches and belts built to last, practical dyes like madder red or woad blue when available. Hair could be trimmed or bleached with lye, not to shock, but to show care and status. In settlements across England and Ireland, local chroniclers grumbled that Norse settlers won hearts by being better groomed than rivals. Reputation began at arm's length, how you looked, smelled, and kept your gear.